Okay, hi, welcome back. On this video, I want to give you a brief introduction to storyboarding. Storyboarding, I'll move on to this window. Storyboarding is just visual storytelling. Storyboarding is a way for you to bring your idea to life through the medium of sketching a story. Storyboarding you've probably seen as part of their long tradition in animation. So this is Disney's Robin Hood storyboard. So you can see this is kind of how Disney start to put together their movies. And animation in particular has a big history of storyboarding, but just generally making a movie as well has lots of storyboarding aspects to it. So some examples, these are all kind of film examples or animated film examples. This one is The Lion King. So you can see kind of the progression of a scene through storyboarding and the different angles that the camera would take. You know, is it a close shot? Is it a far away shot? All of these things. This one I think is Pinocchio, but I've not actually been able to verify the close up isn't quite as sharp as I would like it to be. But I mean, that's three examples of movies where you can see the progression over time, and you can see that actually animation is a series of pictures strung together and they tell a story, and that's the theme that we're going to use. So the goal is that you can get to something that looks a bit like this. So for a storyboarding, we're only going to create 5 windows. So we're only going to create 5 parts to the story, and you have to be able to break your story down into 5 bits so that we can figure out what's happening. So this is an example of someone being able to kind of pass by an advertising board, take a picture of a barcode, and then receive information about it. So this is a storyboard explaining QR codes, right? Obviously, it's before QR codes were really a big thing. Just check out the phone in the middle window there. So you get a sense, okay, this is telling me someone's just walking past, they're attracted by a poster, they whip out their phone, take a picture, they get some information about that product, and now they just carry on with their day. So we begin with these 5 empty frames. The reason is that 5 is limiting. It limits your interaction to 1 interaction. If you need to show multiple interactions, use multiple storyboards. Get into the habit of 1 storyboard is 1 interaction. Whether that's scanning a QR code, whether that is connecting a Bluetooth device, whether that is selecting a TV channel, creating a map from place A to B, whatever it is. So what is important is that we have a beginning and an end. So we all learned to write stories as children. We learned that they need to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. So you have a beginning and end, and the middle will develop into some kind of climax, which is usually the user achieves what they wanted to achieve. And then it ends with everyone lives happily ever after, because obviously we're creating positive interactions with our stories. So the way to start is write 1 sentence per frame. So before you even start to think about what you want to draw in that frame or sketch in that frame, write a sentence. So that's going to focus your action to say, okay, what are the steps of this interaction? What are the key steps that I want to convey? Now, you might not convey every single step. Think of the like Apple adverts that say some elements moved, for some parts of the sequence have been removed, some actions have been removed, that kind of thing. But you've got to get something that gives you a nice story. And then you add the sketches, right? So you start with breaking down the interaction into its different parts, and then you add the sketching. The sketching gives life to those sentences that you have below. And be creative. Start to think about how you can draw something in those storyboards. What I always find is people just draw the interface. Scrap that idea, because interfaces are boring. Interfaces are the last thing, really, that we're getting to. What we want to start with is the idea of someone interacts with technology and does something that improves their life, makes their life easier, makes something happen. So to do that, you need people. So you need to include people in your storyboards. So you might have something that's like a kind of point of view shot where you can see their screen, or an over-the-shoulder one where you can kind of, oh, well, they're picking up their phone and looking at it. But you can use a whole bunch of other things that includes just the person going about their daily life. They're at a train station, for example, whatever it is. So try and be varied in your sketches. If you have 5 windows that look exactly the same, it gets kind of dull. What you want to do is kind of maybe start with a long shot or an extreme long shot, and then you get closer into that point of view. Okay, this is what the person is actually doing. The detail on the interface probably isn't important at this point. And then you can come back out to that long shot or of someone kind of walking away with success. So in this case, we've got an extreme long shot at either end. We move in, we see the point of view, we get a close-up of what's actually happened. That's the result of my interaction. And then we have that long shot of moving away. So we're not making films, but there are things from filmmaking that we can use to great effect when we're creating these storyboards. So don't be afraid of storyboards, don't be nervous about them. If you start with a sentence, that sentence will not only help you devise what you want to draw in that window, but it will also help people understand what you've wrote in that window. So the importance of annotation. That sentence is your annotation. And if it all goes wrong, rip it up and start again. No one says that your first storyboard is the best. No one says that the first storyboard is one you're going to keep. And that's the power of sketching. You can just do it over and over and over again.